fighting even worth it?
So I'm guessing this is from the perspective of like someone starting on you in a bar, or are we talking about even just doing martial arts in the first place? Where are we going with this?
Yeah, let's start from way bigger. Is it martial arts even worth doing in the first place when there are other options like
getting a gun and just shooting people? And
yeah, like maybe like yeah, obviously that's going to change according to where you live. Like in America, we can get a license and carry a firearm for self-defense, or a knife, or stuff like that, or mace, or a taser, stuff like that. Other countries you can't. So
yeah, you can't carry a knife. You're gone. You're in prison for a while. So. Yeah.
What about like, can you guys carry like mace or tasers or anything?
Nope.
No self-defense weapons whatsoever.
Self-defense weapons that you could perceive as weapons, I would say. Don't want to do this, I might bang keys. Yeah, but keys, pens, all that sort of thing. Your different kind of type of key rings, your shape key rings and things like that can help you. All those sort of things, different types. But even like knuckle dusters, anything like that, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble if you've got anything like that over here. So going back to, is martial arts basically worth learning? I'm guessing it kind of means really as well, doesn't it? So obviously it is, because there's always a situation where you could possibly need it, or you're in a confined space. Maybe you can't get to your weapon in time, or you go with your weapon and it's already too late. You might need to hit them first, create the distance, then you pull out your gun, and then you can try and diffuse the situation. You definitely need martial arts to some sort of degree. I would like to think, my daughter having it would definitely help her in any situation she's ever in, especially with guys or wherever, maybe being too hands-on in the future and things like that. But also I've used it, so I know it's useful. So to put it bluntly, here it's definitely useful because we haven't got the extra weapons that you might have that make you feel a bit more comfortable. But just going back to what I said earlier, having the ability just gives you a bit more confidence when you're out, but also the awareness, like standing to your back to the bar, so you see everything that's going on. Just the things the martial arts perspective kind of gives you. You just know that, like, you might have all the weapons in the world, but then you're at the bar and you're this way, and then someone just glasses you from behind. You haven't got that awareness built into you anyway. So I think doing martial arts just gives you that extra awareness, confidence in your ability. Like I said, you might not be able to have access to your weapon. You might not be able to get to it in time. So you have to utilize the skills that you do have. And if you haven't got any skills, you haven't got much hope, have you? So it's nice to have an extra string to your bow, have that extra bit of self-defense that you might need. And also just gives you some common sense, I find it as well, with certain things, like not having music and walking down the street and things like that. If you've got music in, obviously you're less aware to your surroundings. You could easily get mugged because you can't hear someone walking faster behind you. Just little things like that. I just find the martial arts that give me, you don't do certain things because it could potentially put you at risk of more danger. That's the way I would look at it.
So in other words, basically, no matter where you are in the world, even if you can carry weapons, there's always a benefit to learning martial arts, because you made some very valid points about there may be a situation where you get disarmed, or you drop your gun, or you can't get stuck in your pants, or
or you might not even have the distance and time to be able to get it, or they prevent you from getting it. They might grab your hand, which is the hand you get to grab your gun, and then what are you going to do? You've got to now sort this problem out before you get to your solution.
Exactly. And then also the biggest one is you may not even see him coming. And if you're not trained to be aware of the situation, then you're even in a worse spot. So as far as self-defense goes, absolutely. But let's talk about maybe now, is fighting even worth it in a competitive aspect?
They're definitely useful, because you're putting what you've learned onto a platform against someone in a more realistic scenario. When you're sparring each other in lessons, you're probably your friends. You're a bit nicer. You're a bit more playful with them. When you go to tournaments, someone is probably, even if it's semi, they're going to be doing hard contact, trying to take your head off. So it kind of helps you understand different things that you might not in your normal training, and also just to develop those extra senses and movements and things that will be useful to you in outside fighting and self-defense as well. I'm not saying obviously you're going to use all the movement and things because there's different rules in the tournaments, but it definitely makes you more aware of your movement and reaction speed and all things like that. No one will be able to really argue that. And as it develops, you might then want to take more of a route where it goes down obviously to kicking legs and progressing to K1 and all that sort of thing. I think it definitely has a usefulness in doing it. Now it depends on your perspective of it. Now if you're just an everyday 9 to 5 guy, you're getting up, you don't want to go to work with a black eye the next day. They'll be saying, oh, where did you get that black eye? It just makes you look like you're rough, you're fighting or whatever. You've got an image to kind of keep up. So it's more kind of for the fitness aspect. So for you, it's probably not as beneficial and things, and you might want to do it. But I'd recommend, in lessons, if you're sparring with people, just say, look, just up the pace a little bit so we can kind of get a little bit more realistic so I can build on my reaction time rather than thinking of going to these tournaments to prove yourself. And that's the other thing we move on to is proving yourself. Is you go to these tournaments, even though you're paying out of your own pocket, you're not even thinking of that. You're just thinking, I want to be able to win. I want to do this. How good am I? What can I do? How can I get better? All these questions come up in your head. So the only way really to do it is when you're competing against someone. So it definitely has its place for like different minded people and what you want out of martial arts. And then obviously as it progresses and we go to more of the more advanced kind of ones where they are getting paid and things like that, you obviously got to enjoy it first. If you're just motivated by money, you're going to lose. It's going to happen to you. You might be great and your ability might carry you so much and you might win your first few, but then you're going to go on binges, you're going to buy the cars, you're going to do all this, and then all of a sudden your training's going to become the less of a priority, and then you're going to lose. It happens. I'm not saying money isn't important, because it definitely is, because it helps you pursue it as a career and all out train for it. But it shouldn't be your main purpose for doing it. Think about what you want out of it rather than is it useful for you? Is it worth it? For me, it's not worth it now. Back then, I did. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to prove a point. Now I'm just like, hell no. I'm not going to go in there for anyone. If I have to fight you on the street, yeah, I will go into that situation. And if I have to fight you, I will fight you. I will try and avoid fights as much as I can. Or if you can't avoid a fight, yeah, I'm there. I've got my abilities. I'm confident enough in my abilities to know I can handle myself. I don't think I can take on the world. There's always someone harder than you. Or I'm confident enough to know I can defend myself in that situation. But yeah, for me, it's not worth going into fight. If someone offered me a big payday now to go into UFC or something for one match, let's just say hypothetically, I'd be thinking about, okay, I get this great paycheck, I might get some exposure, which might get me more of following, I guess, and more career path. But at the same time, I could take that one punch and then I could just completely lose who I am. So what's more important to you, paycheck and getting this fame and things, or your family, being able to do things with your kids? Mine's more of obviously a kid's perspective. I'm a dad, I got a family. So for me, it's not worth it. I wouldn't, you'd have to pay me a lot of money to get me in the ring. That's for sure. Or I'd do it for charity to make sure it's like on a nice event or something like that. Like if we said we were going to organize something there, me and you were going to fight, I'd do it for charity. I'd set her up. We know we're going to not go hell for leather and try to kill each other. Then it's a nice thing. But other than that, if I would ever fight, I know the intentions of that person. The intention of the person is to end it and win. Whether I've been knocking you out, you can get damaged. Even a kick, even if you win, you might have had a kick during the match that makes you suffer afterwards anyway. So is fighting worth it to me? Like in that context, no, not now. Am I ready and prepared to fight? Yes. I train. I make sure I'm ready just in case anything ever happens to me outside, an altercation, things like that. So, but in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of down to you. You'll have a different take on it if you obviously want to fight and want to go down that route and prove yourself to that high level. Some people just want to be world champion. They set the bar and that's it. That's all their drive and focus is on. But I used to be like that. And then as soon as I had my first child, everything changed. I just thought, boom, okay, I want to make sure I'm still a dad and can still provide and care for my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember you probably see me in the like party mode. Even when I first had my first child, I was still a bit selfish, and then you're developing more as a person as your kids grow up, and you realize that you're not the world doesn't revolve around you. There's so many things going on in the world and so many other things to care about. So is fighting worth it to me? No. Is it worth fighting in a real life scenario? No. Because if I kick somebody in the leg, I break their leg, or I kick them in the head, I knock them out, they might fall, they hit the concrete, might be manslaughter, anything could happen. My career is completely gone out the window. So again, can I provide for my family? No. So I look at it in that context. If I have to fight someone, yeah, I will fight someone. I have no problem in doing that. But if I can avoid it, I'm going to. Yeah. And a lot of people might say, oh, yeah, you're a pussy for avoiding a fight. I'm actually thinking about the person that I might be beating up, but also other things that go on in my life as well, my kids. So if I paste this person in now, there's consequences to my actions. Or if I get pasted in even, there's consequences to these actions. So you got to think of it like that. Well, the right way, prove yourself. Like, for example, if I bumped into a person and they accidentally spilt their drink, and they go, hey, what the blah, blah, blah are you doing? You know, start trying to start an altercation off. I go, oh, sorry, mate. Did I spill your drink? Oh, I'll get you another one. You know, easy to diffuse the situation, simplistic. You know, rather than, you know, you've made a mistake in the first place by doing it, but it could be even something simple like stepping on your shoe. Oh, mate, I'm so sorry. I'm stupid sometimes. You know, you just say it like that, and then how can they really react to that in a negative way if you're even calling yourself stupid?
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to combat. If you're saying, oh, step on your shoe, oh, don't be a dick, mate, then you're giving them the energy they need to attack back, puff their chest out. They've had a couple of drinks. Their adrenaline's going. They're thinking about already progressing to that stage. So just no, I don't think any fight is worth it. To be honest, now looking at the bigger grand scheme of things, but being prepared for a fight if you have to, for sure, I think that's a definite. So that's my take on it. I spoke a bit too long now, so you jump in. Sorry, I'm kind of went off on one, but like because I'm a family man, I got loads of different perspectives now as well, so I wanted to put them across.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree mostly when it comes to like all the stuff relating to self-defense on the street. It's not worth it. I don't have kids. I have a fiance, but I also I have to be extra careful because I do have a concealed pistol license, and we are under scrutiny. So if I get involved in any kind of violent altercation, I'll lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And with new laws, I could possibly even lose, you know, or get restrictions placed on my rights, which is a different topic altogether. It's unconstitutional.
There's always consequences to your actions of fighting, isn't there? So that's what you got to think about. Are the consequences worth what you're doing? Now, if someone's trying to stab you and you can't get out of the situation, then yeah, you're obviously going to now react and try and end the situation in any way you feel the need to. Yeah, right. Whether that be turning that knife on them and slitting or doing whatever and finishing them or ending them, that might be the case, and you have to do that. And then you obviously go through the right procedures afterwards to see whether you will lawfully have done that or not. And you have to deal with the consequences of those actions, which don't always turn out the way you would like them to, of course, as well, because you might think you're justified in doing something and you weren't.
Exactly.
If there's any kind of scrutiny in it, that could be your life ended, you know, just from you defending yourself excessively or doing something, you know, in the moment, like someone threw a punch at me and I've decided to break their legs. Then, you know, I've obviously used excessive force. You know what I mean? Or I might have just kicked a bit too hard, you know, because the adrenaline's going. I might have booted him in the leg and the legs just snapped, and I didn't mean to even snap their leg. And then they've got to decide whether I meant the intent was there to snap the leg or not, and then that's down for debate. Yeah, so you're opening a can of worms from fighting anyway. So my advice to you is, if you can avoid it, always avoid it. You know, yeah. I wouldn't be a good influencer, I think, if I told you, yeah, just beat everyone up, fight everyone. I mean, it's not the way to be. You know, you're silly if you think that's a very young mentality to have. Like if I was a teenager and you asked me this question, I'd be, yeah, fight the world, man. You know, now it all changes as you grow up and you develop as a man and you understand more. You know, you think you know everything when you're younger. You bloody don't. Simple as.
Yeah, man. It can't be like back in the day. I used to, you know, I had a temper. I used to fight any chance I got. And, but, you know, as an adult now, like, especially since I am a big gun guy, I don't want to lose my right to carry. So even if some guy is spitting in my face, even if I just, you know, decided, yeah, all right, I'm going to beat the crap out of this guy, you know, and not use any weapons, just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Right? Just being involved in that violent altercation, even if I was in the right, you know, maybe one judge doesn't see it that way, and then bam, I've been convicted of a violent crime, and I lose my right to carry my permit.
I also teach as well. So if you're ever doing seminars and things like that, that's an issue as well. So even just your life changes too. Not even just the gun carry. I know you love your guns, but I'm sure you love doing all your other stuff as well, which can easily be taken away from that as well. If we have GBH here, we can't teach.
Oh.
If we have GBH here, we can't teach no more.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here it's like usually if you're a felon, that is when stuff starts to change. If it's a violent misdemeanor, now that, even though it's not a felony, can still affect, you know, other areas. So that's why fighting is especially consequential when you're older and you got crap you don't want to lose, and, you know, you don't want it to affect your life. So as a kid, if someone, you know, tried to stare me down, I'd go attack them, which is what I always did because I was a little hothead. But now I can't do that because
I relate. I'm ginger, man. I relate. Someone even say something and I'd be like, I'm going to kick your ass right now.
Yeah.
We've all grown up, man. We realized the error of our ways. We were lucky that nothing happened to us in those moments because, you know, we could have done something really bad and would have changed our life forever. So this is why now I try and also preach and educate to the youth that are thinking the fighting's okay. You've got to think about the consequences now because they set up the whole precedent for your future. You got to think about your actions now because that'll stop you from maybe doing what you really want to do in life.
For sure, man. Absolutely.